Hi, it's John Seville from CoastTec. Today we're going to talk about our new program, the Comprehensive Protection Program, or CPP. The CPP is a solution that enables companies to maintain and manage large fleets of UPSs, both cost-effectively and efficiently. So what I mean by that is, if you look at a traditional service contract for a large amount of units, you would typically have to have one service entitlement per one unit, meaning that your contract would have to spell out each specific unit in your fleet for coverage. In a large fleet of UPSs, that becomes cost prohibitive. See, what we know for a fact, if you have a large fleet of UPSs, we know for a fact that not every single one of those is going to fail in a year. So why pay for coverage that's going to cover every single unit in your fleet for that year? Let's look at a car insurance analogy. So what if you have a fleet of 100 cars? Typically today you have to pay car insurance for each one of those cars. But what if you were able to just say, you know, I'm not going to pay for each one of those cars in car insurance. I'm just going to buy 10 little incidents, and we'll use these chips as representative. 10 incidents. And if something happens to car number 4 during the year, gets into an accident, has a problem, you take one of your prepaid incidents and you put it on car number 4. What happens if car number 78 has a problem? Instead of, you take one of your prepaid incidents and you put it on car number 78. You'll then be able to cover your fleet of cars only buying your 10 incidents and not covering the entire fleet of cars. Because again, we know that not every car is going to have a problem during that year. So now take that example into the field of UPSs. You've got 1,000 units in your fleet, 100 units in your fleet. We know that not every single one of those units is going to fail in that year. We've been doing this for 25 years. We can pretty much predict your failure rate based on the age of your units and the units you have in their environment. So we can say to you, look, you have your fleet of 1,000 units. We know that probably 20% or maybe even less are going to fail. So we're going to sell you a bucket of service credits that is going to cover that specific amount of units for that year. So you're only paying for the units that you use. You're only paying for the service that you use, whether it's proactive or reactive. So what I mean by that is, if you have a failure, we're going to send you a unit. If at the end of the year you have some credits left over, we're going to go ahead and replace the oldest units in your fleet proactively to burn those credits. So let's take an example of a fleet. So you have your headquarters that has a bunch of units in closets, and then you have branch locations, whether a bank or a retail environment. Let's say one of the units in the headquarters fails. So what happens is, then you would just generate an email, send it down to CoastTec. It would be your company name at CoastTec.com. Then we down here at CoastTec will send you a replacement unit right to your site at the headquarters. You then take the unit that has failed, put it in the box that the CoastTec unit came in, the replacement unit came in, send it back to us here. And then we'll deduct the appropriate amount of credits. Okay, now say a unit in one of your branches fails. You then generate an email, send it to your company name at CoastTec.com. We will send a unit to your branch. The branch then replaces that unit, puts the old unit back in the box that the new unit came in, sends it back to CoastTec, and we deduct the appropriate amount of credits. So currently we have about 30,000 units that are in this program. And we're finding that customers love the program for a couple of reasons. One is the ease of fulfillment. You don't have to get a PO cut for every time a unit fails. You just send an email and a unit's on its way to you. 2 is the ease of purchasing. You're only cutting one purchase order to cover your stacked credits for the year. 3 is you have CoastTec, a company that's been around for 25 years to maintain, manage, and monitor your fleet of UPSs. And lastly, there's no fire drill. When something happens to a unit, you don't have to run around, make a lot of calls, get prices. You just send an email. We're here to support you. For more information on the CPP program, or to get your company's personalized fleet assessment, please give us a call here, 410-521-1000.